Well, good evening, gang, and welcome to It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams, and I'm your host. And to my right and to your left, of course, Amanda Lamoureux Smith. Hello, how are you?
Wonderful.
Welcome
Yourself?
back. How's everything?
Good.
I had a great week, very busy week. And
I know.
you?
I've been waiting to ask you.
Yes, I know you have.
Let's hear it.
Which part?
The CD.
I know, the CD has
Which
been released.
part?
It's done. I sat and listened to it. It'll be up and ready for people to download literally
Where's the copy?
days from now. You know how I am. I'm going to wait until it's in the shelf. Then I let people.
All right. I'll let it slide.
I should bring you some. I'll bring you some cuts anyways. But I want to remind you, we're coming to you live from our beautiful studios here at BNN TV, and you're more than welcome to join us if you'd like. We're at 617-708-3290. And the great staff of BNN are in the other room answering the phones, and I promise you give us a call. They'll bring you right straight through here to the set so Amanda and I can share what's going on in your community artfully. So... One of the things that I did this weekend was I ran the soundboard and did the sound for the great Bird Mancini band that played in Rosendale this past weekend. They came through, and we were very. They were an amazing band.
Was it outside?
Outside.
God, that's hot, right? For you to manage that.
It's tough to do outside because the sound is not a confined space, so the sound is sometimes difficult to manage. But
right.
When you're dealing with musicianship is to that quality, you just make sure everyone can hear everything,
right.
and nothing is. It was a lot of fun. It was good.
Good.
Yeah, it was great.
Good.
Have you gotten out to anything artful this week?
I actually wasn't feeling well this weekend.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, that's okay. I feel better now. I had a friend's wedding shower, in Millis.
Oh.
I've never been to Millis. Beautiful town. And yeah, that was exciting my weekend.
Speaking of never been to, I'm going to Maine for only the second time. Now that the kids are moved back into the house and all that stuff,
You're getting out of there.
Janice and I are going to get out of the way for a few days, so they can take over the house for a bit. And but it's fun. We're going to Booth Bay. Booth Bay. And I guess that's right on the shore, and I get to swim in the ocean. It's something that I love to do, but my schedule just hasn't allowed me lately to get out for the last couple of years to get out to the ocean. So you're going to take
full advantage of that?
I'm taking full advantage of that this year, yeah. So we're going to go up there and relax. There's a couple of art events that we've been invited to that we're going to go see.
Exciting.
So.
And you're staying most of the week, right?
Yeah, we'll be back Friday, I guess, or late Thursday. So.
Mid-sized getaway?
Well, it's fun to do that because we don't get an opportunity where our schedules are flying in so many different directions. So before school starts up again, which, by the way, will be very, very soon for me, being back in school. It's actually the week after Labor Day.
Okay.
So we're starting a little bit later than most of the schools are because we're going to an extended day.
Oh,
yeah, we're going to be teaching till 4 o'clock, I think.
So that gets you out how much earlier at the end?
Gets us out earlier on the other end, too. But the days are longer, and there's more curriculum to fit in and write.
And attention spans to expand?
Well, yeah, but I think what's going to happen is that, especially for the arts program that I'm going to be involved in, there's lots of room for growth, and there's more time for working out creativity instead of just handing out assignments and instead of just getting it done. I think there's going to be more time for the creative mind to work, and I think that's important.
That's so important.
So I'm hoping by the second half of the year, the kids will have this new rhythm underway.
It's a big change of pace.
It is. It'll be fun though.
Exciting.
Yeah. I'm sorry that you weren't feeling very well. Do you have anything coming up artfully that you're going to be?
Well, if you consider Yankees and Red Sox art.
You going to the Yankees-Red Sox game?
Yes, tomorrow night.
Oh my goodness, you get tickets to the greatest things. How do you do that?
My boyfriend owns a technology company, and he...
That'll do it.
Yeah.
They're box seats. Their seats are always available. That's exciting.
It is exciting.
We have closed the books on this year's Porch Fest. So Porch Fest is going to have about 80 bands and about 70 porches, 65 porches or so. So that's going to be September 17th.
Do you know I've never experienced a Porch Fest? I actually am embarrassed to say that.
Porch Fest is really, really fun. One of the main accomplishments of Porch Fest is that it brings people in the neighborhood kind of out to meet and greet and kind of socialize with each other. Years ago, that's the way it was.
Right.
You just kind of hung out that way. But nowadays, people with their schedules and their work and their cell phones, there's more. There it is, right there. In their cell phones, that they don't really kind of commit as much as we used to. So,
of course.
One of the enjoyable things that I got last year was that people would be on their bikes and they would be riding around. They'd hear music over there,
and just
they'd steer over and listen for a while, and then they get on their bikes and they'd hear music over there.
What is going on?
And there's 3 sets. There's a set at 1:30, there's a set at 3, and then there's a set at 4:30. So there could be possibly 3 bands on a porch. And I played one porch on one day at 1:30 and another porch at 4:30. So
how long are the sets?
About 40 minutes, because you gotta play and give enough time for the next band to kind of set up. You gotta break down and set up. So I left that middle space open so that I could ride around to put out any issues or trying to address any problems that we might have been having. Problem-free all the way through, not an issue. But I rolled the windows of the car down, and literally you'd ride and hear music over here, and you'd ride around over there and you'd hear music over here, and that's kind of the mission of Porch Fest. And it's an alcohol-free, safe event. We're not in restaurants and bars or playing out in front of, KFC halls and stuff. It's
kid-friendly.
It's kid-friendly, it's family-friendly, it's walkable, and that's going to be September 17th. We'll be talking more about it, but I just wanted to give you the numbers and let you know that we are finally finished. And there will be an after party. See if you can get a shot of this. I know I should have brought some more.
I know, it's fine.
There's an after party that is...
in the hotel lobby?
In the hotel lobby? No, there's an after party at the end of Belgrade Avenue at St. Nectarius' church. There, they've got an enormous function hall.
Cool.
So the only way you can get in is by getting one of these. So go to
exclusive.
Go to the website and figure it out. If you get there and you don't have one of these in,
not cool. I'm not getting in.
Super producer Janice Williams will not let you pass that table. So that's kind of what's going on.
Cool.
This amazing building that we're in. I got to talk a little bit about our great friends and supporters of this, the Main Streets program. Boston Main Streets is a volunteer-driven organization that helps revitalize the business districts around the city. There's about 21 of them around. Over 30 years ago, Rosendale Square. Well, longer than that. When I was walking through Rosendale Square to go to school as a kid, they had all these stores. There was 2 supermarkets. There was the bowling alley. There was the theater. There was nightlife. It was just great, A couple of fires, couple of this, couple of that. The place went right completely downhill. And one of the other things that happened that people kind of don't talk about was that there were a lot of people that left the city at that time. In the early 70s, they desegregated the public schools all up and down the East Coast, and Boston was one of the places that really kind of took it on the chin because people weren't happy with the situation, and a lot of people uprooted their families that had been living there for years and moved out of the city to other educational systems. And what that did to the city was it brought the economic strength down to a crashing halt, and Rosendale suffered greatly. I mean, it was
not a fun place to be.
There were drugs on the street. There were murders. You wouldn't go down there at night, and it was terrible. All storefronts boarded up or with grates on them. It was terrible. Then the city councilor Tom Menino, he was city councilor, just became city councilor, became aware of a brand new program called Main Streets that had been used in industrial parks to kind of renovate malls and stuff like that. And they wanted to try it in an urban setting where people lived in their little. And it took a lot of work. It took a lot of years, and now Rosendale is a destination. It's because of that program.
That's amazing.
People standing in line to get in restaurants.
Right.
Come on, you know, no one had thought of that 25 years ago. But now, because of all that,
People are coming back.
people are coming back. And they have been supporting this program for a long time because they see that the arts are part of our community and part of our
And
school
important.
system and an important part of what we do. So we want to thank them
Yes.
for all of the things that they do for us. And if you see someone in a Main Street t-shirt, make sure that you thank them, please. Thank them for Amanda and I, because they're only doing it because they love their community just like you do. So do that. The other thing I want to talk about is this incredible building we're in, Boston Neighborhood Network, BNN TV. Do you know, if you're walking around right now and you're hearing us, hearing my voice, it's because you're listening to our brand new radio station, WBCA,
Exciting
which
stuff.
is 102.9 on the FM dial. We are simulcasting there live now. Not live, I guess there's a delay on that. So if you're listening to me talk about this right now, this might have happened a couple hours ago. But what's happening is we are simulcasting this television program and a lot of the program here
Yeah.
to our new radio station.
Cool
Which
stuff.
is very, very exciting. So thank you out there. If you're walking around with your headphones on, walking around the Jamaica Pond, be careful. Don't walk into the water. Be friendly to your neighbors.
Don't text and walk.
Don't text and walk. Just listen. But BNN TV is an opportunity. There's two stations here. There's Channel 9, which you're watching right now, which is for news and information. And what it is that nonprofits can come and talk about their mission statement, bring guests on and talk about it. They've got great staff here running the cameras, all these great people here that help promote and help do the programming.
Yes.
Then there's another side of BNN, which is Channel 23, which is the access side. Now on the access side, you become a member for a real small fee, and then you learn to do Final Cut Pro. You learn to use all of these incredible cameras, how to do the lighting and the sound and stuff. Is the switch available to kind of shoot over? You know what we're going to do is let's turn the key and just to see kind of what's going on over on Channel 23. Check this out. We'll be right back. Help business owners put up a new facade or new signage or something, which is really cool. And one of the other committees that they have is economic restructuring. Let's say you own a building and you want to put a business in it, in the business district. What they do is they do surveys of the neighborhood, they do demographic work, they find out what kind of businesses people want so that you... I wish I had all that hair back, I can tell you. That's great. That's the great Carol O'Connor, who was a co-host here long before you. But that's kind of, we make fun. We have a lot of fun with that little segment. But that's the side where you get to take all these great classes, sign out the equipment, go to the local debate in your community, or go to the local softball game and film it. Bring the images back here and edit them in the great Timothy Smith lab downstairs, and they put it on Channel 23.
Great opportunities.
It's a great opportunity. So if you're interested in doing any of that, you please go to www.bnntv.org. Click on the great Jim Atwood's name. Jim's been doing it for since it began, and if anybody has the answers to any of the questions you may have, he would be the one. So, with that said, we're going to try this thing we call TV.
Yep.
We
Sure are.
We are very, very excited that Amanda has thought about what she wants to do for her segment of the show. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break, push her over there,
Throw me in with the lions.
get her over there to check out and see how. Listen, gang, you're watching BNN TV's It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn. This is, of course, the lovely Amanda. We'll be
Stay
back
tuned.
in just a couple of minutes. Please don't go away. We'll be right back. Thanks. Well, welcome back, gang. Thanks an awful lot for hanging in there with us. You're watching BNN TV's It's All About Arts, and we're coming to you live from our beautiful Studio B. Here, where you're more than welcome to join us. You can give us a call at 617-708-3290. And also, please remember you can check this show out and all of the past shows at our YouTube website. If you go to your YouTube channel and type in the search, It's All About Arts and the number 1, that'll bring you right to all of the old shows that we've done over the years. I can't believe that in November it's going to be 19 years doing this great program. What an honor and what a thrill it is to be doing this every Monday night for you. And also, it'll be on... Please go to our Facebook page and like us. There's lots of things happening there that aren't just connected with the show. It's all arts related. So if there's anything that you'd like to know, please feel free to drop by that page. But right now, it's the debut of a new segment here at It's All About Arts and BNN TV. We're very, very proud to present to you Motivational Mondays with Amanda.
Hi guys, thank you so much, Glenn. I'm super excited to be able to have the opportunity to have my own segment. So I thought long and hard about what I wanted to bring to the TV show, and I thought about my own art and what inspires me. So I start all of my art with quotes. I write it on the back of the canvas, and I really use that to build my own art. Besides art, I think quotes are very important to help you get through the week. Whenever I feel like my head is foggy or I'm just having a bad day, I will go through a book of quotes that I've written for years that really get me back in focus. So I really encourage you guys to get on the quote bandwagon. If you see a quote that really brings you back to focus, put it on a Post-it note, put it on your mirror, say it in the morning, it'll help you through the day. Who doesn't need motivation on Monday? We have 4 days till Friday. So without further ado, the first quote that I'm going to bring for this Motivational Monday is, "Be yourself, everyone else is taken." So for me, this quote is super important because I want everyone to embrace their uniqueness. And I think how boring would it be to be someone else? They're already taken. So be you, be your unique story, and if you don't have a group of supportive people around you, find people who love you for who you are. So the quote was from Oscar Wilde, so just a little bit of a backstory on him. So his full name was actually Oscar Fingal O'Flaherty Willis Wilde. It's a mouthful, huh? And he was an Irish playwright, he was a novelist, he was an essayist and a poet. He was big in the late 1800s and he was from London. So that is my contribution today. I hope you guys like that and I will see you next Monday. Back to you, Glenn.
Thank you very much. That was fantastic. Breathe. That's fantastic. Listen, gang, that was a lot of fun, and look forward to that every Monday. We're going to turn you on every Monday with some of Amanda's thoughts and what she's doing. Motivational Monday. What a great idea. I think it's going to be fantastic. But with all that said, without further ado, it's my great honor and pleasure, please, to bring back to the set and reintroduce you to Helen Kamins. Hello, Helen. How are you?
Hi, very good, Glenn.
It's good to see you.
Thanks for having me back.
What's going on with you? What's new and exciting?
Well, I've been
in the world of
my world of Helen.
the world according to Helen.
It's been really busy.
That's great.
Being a full-time artist takes a lot of energy,
Sure.
a lot of time. Sometimes it's waking up early, or I'm sort of a night person, so I'll find I'm into a painting, and when supper's done, everything's all set, then I'll go down to the studio and just start pumping away.
Is that your dedicated time kind of towards the end of the day?
It is,
you know?
yeah, it is. I don't have a real set time because I have a younger son who just graduated from college. He's back in the house. Thank
Excellent. Our daughter's back in the house.
Yes.
That's great.
That's why you're going away to Maine.
That's why we're getting out of there.
Understood. So things are still kind of busy around the house.
That's good.
But when I do find that things are settled down, I can go down to the studio and really work as late as I need to.
Yeah, that's great.
And
if we had to put a category to the kind of artist you are, I mean, I love to give my guests an opportunity to kind of tell me if there was a cat. Now, me, for instance, myself, I'm an abstract artist, and I use acrylic paints, and
Yes.
you got to get out of the way. I have to be in the room alone, or else you'll be part of the
Of the expression. That's right. Well, actually today's show is kind of interesting because I've been painting for a very long time.
Yeah.
I think last time we were on, you had mentioned, and I thought it was a very enlightening comment, that I'm one of the only people that you know who actually have done art their entire career.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the beginning part and the part that was help and support a lifestyle was doing computer graphics,
Yeah.
which at the time was more lucrative and so forth, and I'm pleased to say that I've been back to the fine arts for a long time. But I would say representational, but I'm moving towards impressionism.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And in the medium you're using?
Oil paints mostly.
You like oil paints?
I do.
Yeah.
I
Now,
do.
Is there? Are you able to work on several pieces at once?
Oh,
Because of the
yeah.
drying nature and the layering and all that?
I do work on several pieces at a time, usually about 3 to 4, and some I just begin, some I'm evaluating whether they're done or not. But I do use a water-based or water mixable oil paint.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's very neat. And as a traditional...
On canvas?
On canvas, on board, whatever.
Yeah.
It's Winsor Newton. It's a very high-end kind of paint. And it's been out for a very long time. But I'm a real traditionalist, and I hesitated using it, but it had already been used for a long time, has a very good, longevity capabilities. So it's very good because I can use odorless turpentine. And
keep your space safe.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, because it just stays on, that fumes for such a long time. So
Especially where you said you're going downstairs, so I'm imagining
yeah.
you're going down into the basement or
Yes, it is
yeah,
the basement,
yeah,
essentially.
yeah.
So it's sort of between acrylics, the drying time, acrylics and traditional oil paint.
Right.
So for me, that works perfectly. Acrylics just dries very fast, and it's a little bit flat. With this, you still use the linseed oil and the terps and so forth, so you can make it really rich, but it doesn't take forever to dry. So it's been really successful for me.
That's great. I know that we're going to be talking about some of the illustrations and stuff
Yes.
that you've done for a book. Is this something new? Is this relatively
no,
new in
actually-
your career?
No, it's actually, I'm bringing some of the old back in.
Are you really? Okay. Revisiting?
Kind of revisiting. We can't take it out. It's always there, It's always there.
You don't empty the picture.
No, it's, is this a line drawing? Is it, cartoony? Is it serious? I'm sort of unusual in the fact that I do many different styles
Yeah.
depending on the application. So actually the graphic design, book cover illustrations are things that I've been doing all along the way. And when people aren't feeling comfortable financially, in terms of purchasing a serious piece of an oil painting, you always need some graphic design and illustration.
They can always purchase a book.
Or purchase a book, that's
Now,
right.
I have a question. From the artist side of this, of illustrating children's books or whatever the book is, this is almost kind of like a what comes first question, okay? Because I know that there's many students out there that are in the position we are, probably saying, boy, I wish I could do some illustrating for a children's book or for the cover of a book or something. Is it something that you draw from past already completed inventory where you'll run into it, or does the story come to you and then you start to work with your illustration?
Well, usually if you're hired to do a book cover, then usually you interface with the author who has a concept of some sorts as to what they think should represent the contents of the book. And then usually work dynamically with the author and probably do a few rough sketches, and you end up meeting at the right place.
Right, and who makes that final decision of what goes on the cover? Is that the publisher's job?
There's a lot of self-publishing these
Unless
days.
this is self-published.
This is self-published.
Then
I was
whose
the publisher
decision is
on
it?
that. It's quite frankly, it's the writer. The writers. I did an illustration recently, I don't have it here, for a book that teaches young parents how to raise good kids.
Yeah.
And
Well, can I get a couple of copies of that for my classroom? No,
I
I'm
know.
sorry, guys. It's Sacred
No,
Heart.
I'm
I'm only
waiting now.
kidding.
And actually, I should have showed you a graphic of it. It's a watering picture, and down it says laughter, compassion.
Okay, yeah.
And there's kids of various ages
Yeah,
and
yeah.
ethnicities, and they're being sort of showered upon, you know.
That's great.
But this is a concept that the author had in mind. But she, I think it comes up a lot, was wondering about, well, I'd really like to have an illustration versus like stock art. Most books out there have photographs, you know, that you can purchase without infringing upon any copyright issues.
Tell me about that.
I know, it's a big thing.
It's huge.
So in this case, because I was able to illustrate, I presented a couple of sketches, and she's thrilled with it.
That's amazing. That's great. Is it as simple as finding somebody that's, well, I don't know how simple this would be. Is finding somebody, or is it something that kind of falls into the direction?
It's kind of word of mouth a lot.
Because of your network.
Yes, the
Yeah.
network is very important.
Someone says, you know, I know an artist that could do something great
Exactly,
for this. Get Bob over here to meet you. Stuff
Exactly.
like
It's
that.
usually word of mouth, and I do love doing graphics, doing
Yeah.
illustrations.
Yeah.
But then again, I used to do printmaking and publications.
But this is a
work.
little different.
Yeah,
This
it
is
a little different.
you're taking an author's story and kind of giving it that visual. I hate to use the word aid, but kind of giving it that visual hook.
Yeah, or a presentation to give them a little insight as to what they might find
Now,
inside.
we've got some images, don't we, of some of the.
Well, let's see. What we do have
Yeah.
is, last time I saw you,
Yeah.
I think I showed you, I was working on portraiture, oil
Look at that.
portraiture.
That's great.
And I think so that's on the screen. This is a portrait that I did recently of an elderly woman who's filled with joie. She plays golf every day, and it's sort of in an impressionistic style in that it's not photorealism. I did
Yeah.
photorealism
Are you working from a photograph?
long time ago. No, I have to meet the person.
Yeah.
Because I like to know kind of their spirit. Are they serious? Are they happy? Are they reserved? And actually, I'm not sure how many images we
She
have
doesn't
here.
look elderly. She looks experienced.
Well, yeah, and she's fabulous.
Yeah.
You know, she's really she's a hoot. And she said, "Well, this is my favorite piece of furniture, and like a little glass of wine here." And so I do like to meet the person. Then I will take personally some shots of it. We
Okay.
can probably go to the next one. There's a couple of examples. This is one of the masters that I've studied with in Provincetown, and he was about 86 at the time, and he's very soulful.
He's an artist as well?
He's an artist. Brilliant, brilliant guy. Next one, maybe? Okay, this is a case where I was painting in Florida, and I thought that my personal work was done. I'm packing everything up, and this family that was renting a house next door said, "Oh my gosh, can you paint a portrait of Keenan, our son? He's just turning 7. And it would be a surprise for my wife for Mother's Day." So I kind of pulled everything back out. He was very reserved, very shy, so I have it sort of in a backlit situation. He was very tentatively looking at this little crab, and I was actually having a meeting at a gallery down there while...
You plein air sketch this out live?
Yeah,
That's
this was
great.
there, yeah.
That's great.
And his friends of mine actually videotaped when his wife saw it, and she cried.
Of course she did.
Oh, that's my Keenan. So it's sort of a portraiture where it's not just a fixed photograph. I try and impose an attitude or character to it.
Okay.
Next one, I think there might be one more. Okay, and then this is a direction I've been going into, Glenn, because the representationalism thing I've been doing for many, many years, and
This is
I'm
much looser and much
much
more-
interested
yeah.
in impressionism,
Yeah.
is what we would call it.
Yeah.
This is a watercolor I did when I was in Brazil in February, actually, visiting a friend of mine. It's fabulous. And when you travel, you can't really bring oil paints, so watercolors is a wonderful thing to use. So you can go through a few of these images. I've been pursuing looser approaches, stronger
more
colors, impressionistic. I mean, it's a landscape, there's some woods involved, but it's not really tight, and it sort of evokes, hopefully, a feeling, a sense. You can keep, so this actually was my impetus. If you want to show the next one, that would be great. I think there's about 4. This was done on site in plein air.
We've got time for one more after this one, so.
Okay, this is in Florida at the beach, and my intent was to show the weather, the atmosphere, the colors, and so forth that you wouldn't get necessarily from a static photograph.
I love the sky. The sky is beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. So I've been had a show called Realism/Impressionism for the entire month of July, and it sort of showed some of the more representational work.
Right.
Juxtaposed
That's this
to
here out on the
that's
farm,
that right there, yeah. Juxtaposed to the more modernistic impressionism.
In Beverly Farms.
It was up there. I had a solo show.
How'd that go?
Very nice, very nice. A very nice turnout. I had about 26 pieces. And this actually is an oil painting. It's large. It's about 2 by 3 feet. And once again, it's hard to tell in the television resolution, but it's in Manchester by the sea when the tide is low and there's this little brook that dribbles in. But to express a scene without getting too literal.
Right.
And so that's
very,
the
very
direction.
cool. Very,
Yeah.
very cool. Are there any
Thank you.
shows coming up? Do you have anything coming up?
I do. There's going to be a joint, a group show in Provincetown.
Yep.
And I'll be, I've actually worked out there every year.
Is that where you got the necklace?
No, this is my own design.
Yeah, you did. Okay, very good.
This is one of my own designs,
I'm glad
yeah.
I
Thank
mentioned
you,
that.
yeah. So things are pumping away.
When down in Provincetown? Is it going to be for September, October? When are you going to be
It's going to be in September, but
September?
the 3rd week of September, yeah.
Okay, great. Can you send us some information
I
so we can let
definitely
people
will.
know? And put it up on our
Definitely will.
Facebook page or something
love
so
it.
everyone will know about it?
I'd love. I'm so glad that you had me back. And
Helen, thank you. Thank you for
you're
being here.
fabulous.
It's always a
You're
pleasure.
welcome. Yeah.
I love your work. This is great. I want to meet the guy that wrote these books someday.
Oh,
wait a
yes.
minute. He's here, isn't he?
He is here, as a
Listen.
matter of fact.
Listen, gang, you hang in there. We'll be back. We're only halfway done. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. Do not go away. Thanks.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Different view, dream come true. Bolts of lightning from above you.
Welcome back, gang. Thanks an awful lot for hanging in there with us. You're watching BNN TV's It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn, and I want to quickly remind you again, please go to your Facebook page and join, like ours. We're creeping ever closer to 1,000 likes, and that makes us very, very proud. And you're also listening to us on WBCA 102.9 on your FM dial. If you're driving through Boston and you're listening to us, thank you very much for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. And there's still a call out for musicians, local Boston musicians who want to have their music played on the radio. You can get it to me by going to gwilliams@bnntv.org. Drop me a line. We'll get together and talk about getting your music on our brand new radio station. But right now, it is my great pleasure and honor to actually, this is an incredible thrill for me to introduce you to this great writer. I'm really happy and proud that he's here in the studio. Rob Dinsmoor, thank you so much for coming in and spending a couple of minutes with us. I really do appreciate it. You are an author.
Yes.
You've been writing. How long have you been?
I started writing stories when I was 11. I mean, like horror stories. I love horror movies, like the Vincent Price movies with the Hammer films. I started writing those. I started to notice that these horror movies were written by people, and I kind of broadened out from there.
They're
but
not
I just
documentaries, are they?
Yeah, no, they are. Exactly. I hope not. But that's kind of where I started, and I just kept writing because I just really love it. It's a
That's great.
passion.
What's your process? Do you take pencil in hand, or in the old days I'm sure you did, or was it a clickety-clack?
I used to write longhand and then convert, and now when I'm writing, I do some journalism as well. When I do journalism, I do it. I write it first because I need to be able to have access to all my source material. But when I'm composing, when I'm thinking something that's like a piece of fiction, even if it's fictive memoir, I go to the keyboard first, and I just basically write there because I can stream out the thoughts about as quickly as as quickly as they come into my head. Sometimes faster.
Right. This one here. Does Dixie like me? Is it kids?
What's that?
Is it for kids?
Yes, it's a children's book. It was actually it was a collaboration between myself and Helen Kamins.
This is Helen's
That's her
artwork,
dog.
isn't it?
That's her dog. Yes.
There's a lot of her work in here.
Originally wrote a short story.
Right there.
There we go. It was originally a short story I wrote, but then someone suggested to make a good kids book. And then Helen basically helped me convert it to a children's book.
Right.
Added these illustrations, and for me that was just magic.
That's good. Yeah, I mean the selection of the illustrations is very, very important, especially in a kids book. I mean, like I work with kids every day and all day, and being able to capture them and get them to be involved in the story. The illustrations sometimes take a very big role.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it's key to a children's book. It really is, and the illustrations are very central.
Right. Now, she's not here anymore, so you can tell me.
Oh, okay.
Okay. How difficult is it to pick the right illustration?
Well, I mean, I left that to her.
You did?
I really did.
So you kind of rely on the artist's expertise?
With this, absolutely, because I just had complete faith in her, and it was really as much her project as mine.
Yeah.
If not more so.
We'll take care of that. Okay? Let us do it, okay? Thank you. Let's get to this one. You can leave any time. This is an important book.
Yes.
How long did this book take you?
It took me about 3 years.
Yeah.
It's about a stint in rehab, and I was going to go in for a month, and I ended up staying for 3 months.
Right.
Not totally voluntarily. I found it really hard to get out. And Helen was kind of my point person on the outside. But anyway, I took copious notes during my stay there.
Was it something you wanted to write about afterwards, even if it was just to help you out, or was it something you thought you'd see binded?
Yeah, I definitely would have done it just for a therapeutic value. But in fact, I thought it would be something that other people might be interested in reading. And I took all these notes, but a lot of times I found myself kind of tossing them out because this is what I had for dinner, this is what I did, and it's
yeah.
boring, and this is how many miles I walked or ran or something. And so all of these memories came flooding back to me, and I had to kind of try to arrange them in a sensical way.
Navigate them right, so it would be more entertaining for people to relate to.
Yeah, and one of the things that people tell me, and is I'm a humor writer. I came from writing comedy scripts for Nickelodeon and MTV and things like that. And I've read these rehab novels that are all, the guy's teeth are ripped out, he's missing a kidney or two. I mean, it's just horrible, horrible, melodramatic stuff. This is
You're
basically.
not a Ren and Stimpy fan?
Well, actually, I should have done it. This it's meant to be entertaining and comical, but not harrowing the way that these are. And I just met a lot of very interesting people whose names I had to change.
Yeah, of course. But I think sharing the experience is not only works for you, but I think that it also probably works for a percentage of our community as well.
Of course, especially with the epidemic these days. People are reaching out for things that they can relate to, that they can help them through situations.
Sure, absolutely.
Definitely, one of the things I hope to do is sort of normalize, or I should say, make it less strange or something to be secretive about.
Or the stigma, detach the stigma from it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to think. Destigmatize.
That's
and it's important, I think, because there's so many people out there that are suffering, and even the suburbs where I am from, there's just, I think, of people
Everywhere.
quietly drinking themselves.
Well,
in the
there's
street.
closet alcoholics, and just call it what it is, and it's either a pride thing or it's a shame thing or whatever it is, that you're just not going to put yourself forward to get the kind of help that you need. Let me be the first to say thank you for putting out a book like this. I mean, because I'm sure that there are people out there that are benefiting from your experience and enjoying the writing. The writing part is amazing. I mean, that's really, this isn't your first book. What else have you written about?
Well, the first time I put a memoir, I put together a book and got it self-published. It was called Tales of the Troupe. And it was about this comedy troupe that I wrote for in New York City in the 1980s. And it was after it was over, I actually felt this wave of disappointment. It only lasted about 5 years. People went on to other things.
Yeah.
But I had such memories, strong memories about that experience. So the stories were all, like, they kind of came out one at a time, and pretty soon I had a whole collection of like 18 of them. And funny, also sad. One of our members died of AIDS, and so it got me going down the path of memoirs. And I did The Yoga Divas and Other Stories, which was about all the people that I met taking and teaching yoga, the yoga retreats, which is actually how I met Helen, was at a yoga retreat.
Are you a yogi?
I'm a yogi. I'm a yoga teacher.
See, I didn't think I knew that, didn't I?
It didn't stop me from, it didn't get
You're
me,
so hip.
it didn't stop me from drinking, but once I was on the road to recovery, it gave me a lot of the tools that I needed.
Is memoirs the direction you're going to go? Is there any fiction coming up?
There is.
I mean, because years ago you were writing fiction.
Yeah.
About monsters and crazy cats from outer space.
Yeah. And no, I'm going actually back to that. I'm going back. I've got some things. After that, I wanted to write some fun stuff.
Yeah.
And so.
Oh, funny stories are good too,
Yeah, so I've written some humorous stories. I've got one coming out in the Lowestoft Chronicle. It's a paean to H.P. Lovecraft, but it's sort of satiric. And another one it's mostly funny science fiction satire, coming out in Fables Online, and I've got a novel that I'm putting together, which is also sort of a science fiction satire.
Right.
So I'm totally back in the fantasy world.
Good.
I'm tired of this.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
And where can people find your work? What's the best website to?
I have a personal website. It's www.robertdinsmoor.com.
We're going to link that up so that when people go to It's All About Arts, all they have to do is click on your name.
Oh, that'd be
It'll
awesome.
go right to your website. We're going to do that for Helen too. Make sure we link up the information. Were there any more images that we needed to see from some of Robert's work?
Well, these are.
Lo and behold, there
That's
they are.
us and
That's the
Dixie.
dog?
And Dixie was just such an
Is that
interesting.
the dog? There's
That is the
Dixie.
dog. That dog would just bark and bark and bark when I come over.
now he's famous.
For months. I mean, years. This dog did not trust me, and so that's what the whole thing was about, is
Does
slowly
Dixie like me?
Does
getting
Dixie
this,
like me,
yeah,
right?
exactly. So
You're right,
Another
yeah.
memoir.
Yeah.
it was a memoir, but it was just something that
funny.
kids might get something out of, and
Oh, I think they will.
For sure.
I want to use it in my class because I know where it goes. So it's a message and a half.
well, we'd definitely like to donate them.
Would you?
Yeah,
I
so
would
actually
love
both
it.
books to you.
I'd love you
Happy
to
do
sign
that.
them because well, we'll get to that later. We'll
Okay.
get to that later. What are you working on now?
Well,
The Glenn Williams story?
the which? no, I'm actually working on a novel about a man who, maybe even a man and a woman who just seem to be not susceptible to aging, disease, injury.
It is
and-
the Glenn Williams story.
Yeah, there
no,
you
it's
go.
not.
But basically, this character ends up living for about a century, so it's kind of like
This
a,
is your fiction. You're breaking out of it. That's
yeah.
great. That's
So
great.
It's a lot of fun, and I've actually had to go back and research. I want to know on a daily basis how people lived in like 1915 New York.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun to have this character just live and segue from one period to the next, including periods that I've never lived in.
Yeah. Do you enjoy the research part?
I do.
That great new tool we have, St. Google, is fantastic.
Google.
Well, I have not only
That is for
Wikipedia,
sure.
but I've got a bunch of things that happened in Coney Island in like 1915.
Yeah.
There's so much on YouTube that you can just look at, and
yeah.
it's just, I love it.
Yeah.
There's different rides, scary rides, more dangerous
Can you
rides.
imagine getting on one of those today?
Yeah, I mean,
This
they're-
thing that spins around and throws you off into the distance.
exactly.
You sign a consent form before you
Oh, and
show
people
up.
were daredevils in those days. They'd hang off by their legs
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It looked like a lot of fun. And they had different confections. They had different sideshows. Houdini was there. So it's really fun to try to find any way I can to feel like I was in that period. And that's been a lot of fun. It's going to take a long time.
What's the average turnaround? I'm sure it varies to some extent, but what's the average turnaround for a novel or a memoir or your most recent books?
This one's going to take 3 years, and I think this one took 3 years, and Tales of the Troop took probably 10 or 15 years to accumulate them all, and I take them to various writers groups and
That's
have
good.
them all vetted, and eventually
Oh,
I
you
had
got a
all these
workshop.
stories.
That's great.
Yeah, it's great. I really recommend it for anyone who wants to write.
Let me ask you this. Is the writing process for you as simple as, I'm not doing anything right now, I'm going to sit down and work on such and such? Or do you have to really say, it's 10 o'clock, I'm working till midnight, and this is when I have a chance to do the work?
Many writers work that way. I've always had to work pretty much full time with being a journalist as well.
Yeah.
So it's like I would steal time and I'd say, I can do this story right now. I can do it right now.
Yeah.
You have to be kind of prepared, at least I do. I have to be prepared to be in the zone to go, I know what I'm going to write,
Yeah.
but just being able to get it down on paper.
And I know that feeling once I write a little, when you crust that top and all of a sudden things just start flying.
Oh, yeah.
Next thing you know, you're 2,500 to 3,000 words in, and you go, well, maybe I should start editing a little bit
Yeah.
here and there,
Oh yeah, and then I usually that process usually happens weeks down the line. But
Oh, yeah, yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
it's so cathartic. I mean, I'm shaking afterwards,
yeah.
Right.
getting it all out, and it's a great feeling if you can get in that zone. But it's sometimes hard.
Bob, I gotta thank, not Bob, Rob. Does anyone call you Bob?
Now
They
they
call me
do.
Rob.
Rob. Listen, Robert, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Let's not be strangers. Let's get you back in here. Further on in the process of the book, not the end. Let's get you back in here and talk a little, because we had a lot of students that watched the show that are trying to be writers and are going through what you have already gone through with your writing career. It'd be great to follow the progress of this next book.
Well,
It'd
I
be
would love
great.
that.
That'd be dynamite. Thank you so much for being here. I really
Thank
do
you.
appreciate it. Amanda, thank you. Motivational Mondays. It's in the books. What did you
Wait for
think of?
next
What
week.
did you think of? I didn't know that about Oscar Wilde. See, I didn't
Yeah,
know his
see?
name was. I didn't know he was
Mouthful.
He
completely
comes up
out
with some
there.
great stuff. I
No
love him.
question about it. Well, listen, gang. Thanks an awful lot for being here with us. You say goodnight with us, Robert. Is it okay?
Sure.
Let's say goodnight. Get out, listen. Thank you to our friends listening on WBCA 102.9 on your FM dial. Thank you for tuning in. If you've got your headphones on and you're in your car, please be safe. Don't forget that the kids are coming back to school very, very soon. Make sure that you're paying attention to what's going on. Helen, thank you very much for being here, old friend. Thank you. You know that you're welcome back anytime. Listen, gang, get out there and do something artful for yourself. Janice and I will be up in northern New England. If you see us, make sure you say hi. And like I like to say every week, please keep in the forefront of your minds. I hope you're watching the Olympics.
Yes. Gymnastics.
I'll be up till 3 tomorrow morning watching the Olympics. Listen, gang, thanks an awful lot. Like I like to say every week, please keep in the forefront of your minds. Our mothers, fathers, sons and daughters, aunts and uncles, nieces and nephews on foreign soil. Get out there and do something artful. Do it for them. And we'll see you next week. If you're down around Rosendale Square next week, drop by the Farmers Market and say hello. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week.
Bye,
Bye-bye now.
guys.